Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very, very short segment of my sort of news segments that I like to put out every now and then, just to have a short-term brief reflection of what's going on and what's being said in the mainstream, and I guess alluding to the fact that it's a new year. We'll call it the New Year's news. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all had a nice weekend hitherto. And I hope you're not paying too much attention to what's being said in the mainstream and paying attention to what's not being said on the mainstream. Because the reason why I say that is because I've just been listening to a football game on the radio just for a bit of background noise more than anything else. And there was yet another incident amongst the spectators in one of the stands. It was a match between Watford and Tottenham Hotspur at Vicarage Road, which is Watford's football ground. And what happened was they again stopped the match so that a fan, spectator, supporter could be attended to because there were medical difficulties. Now, the fact that a fan has medical difficulties, that can happen. I know from my own experience working in and around football now for a long, long time, that that happens all the time with so many thousands of people in the ground. The chances are someone can faint, somebody can have a medical issue, someone may have forgotten to take their medication before they left, or whatever it is. I mean, it's a big cross section of society that meet up on a match day. So that can happen. What is unprecedented until recently is the fact that they stop the football match on the pitch because of what's going on elsewhere in the ground. And of course, this has now been happening on many occasions. And all you have to do really is look at the previous match days, not just in the English Premier League, but also the slightly lower league, so the English Football League, or the Championship, then League One, League Two, whatever, and you can see plenty of examples of where medical staff have had to engage because of complications, let's say, in and around the ground. Not just in the UK or in England in this case, but also in many other countries. Germany, I know for a fact they have similar situations there. Italy, most definitely. In fact, Italy was my source of information when BBC certainly weren't mentioning it, and that was when the Danish player Christian Eriksen collapsed when Denmark had a game, and nobody was talking about what the reasons for that could be, because that of course is just as unheard of, that a top fit footballer suddenly just collapses and keels over in the ground. It has happened, but it's very, 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 very rare. And of course, within a few days, we found out through the Italian press that he had just recently received his medical procedure, as it were, while he was playing for Inter Milan. So people started connecting the dots very, very quickly, is the point I'm making on that. And the same with this. Now, another thing that that stood out for me was, whilst I was listening to the commentary, it was the fact that nothing was being said about how this is turning into a bit of a pattern. Because, like I said, this has happened in previous games. And it's not the first match that I've heard on the radio where that's happened, where they've had to stop the game. And surely, even as a co-commentator, maybe even if you haven't read the script, you would mention the fact that this is becoming a bit of a regularity that needs to be looked at a bit more closely. And for some reason, nobody on the commentary team is ever alluding to that. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is an observation I've made, having listened to lots and lots of football commentaries on the radio. And that plays into a pattern of behaviour that is very, very suspicious. So, I think that's something worth thinking about. And it's something worth looking at a bit more closely, because what is kept from us is just as vital as the BS and nonsense that is piled upon us. I just wanted to highlight that point. because that was something that I think needed to be said, and that is for anybody, no matter what side of the fence you find yourself on in all of this. For me personally, there's no fence, it's clear and obvious, but for many others there still needs to be a lot of convincing to do, for some strange, bizarre reason that will remain forever a mystery. Certainly my pea brain won't be able to understand that. But anyway, there we go. So that was it. I just wanted to send out a brief message and wish you all well for the immediate and upcoming future, as it were. And I look forward to many more initiatives that will be worked on sooner rather than later, and meeting up with many more people as we continue to try and spread awareness and make use of a slow swing in people's opinions on all of this, based on their own personal experiences, which are becoming more and more commonplace now. And I think it's time we also, made use of that and engaged more when we have further activities coming up and events, but we'll talk about that in more detail closer to the time, no doubt. All right. So on this note, I bid you farewell. Speak to you all very soon. Some of you sooner. He's happy. He's back on camera again, where he feels he belongs. I can't really argue with that. He's been fed as well, so he's all right today. So it's good night from him, most certainly. And it's good night from me. See you all soon, some of you sooner. Take care. Bye-bye.